What it is, what it is, what it is, YouTube. You know who it is. It's your boy, the Moose. Moose Squad. Let's kick it.
Moose on the loose, moose on the loose. It'll be party all day long. It moves on the loose, moves on the loose. What are you waiting for?
All right. So, without further ado, let's get back into this DJing stuff. Okay, so I've done a lot of videos on trips, and that's over. But we're going to get into technical. Today, there's a issue that I want to discuss. Laptops. Okay, I don't care what laptop you're running. There's going to be a lot of issues in this area. The thinner the laptop, the more important it is to do today's advice. So basically, let's get into it. Let me show you what's going on, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I don't need sound today. We're just going to share my screen. All right. Let me go ahead and minimize this. And let me go ahead and pull what I got going up. Okay. And let's go ahead and maximize the screen. Let's go ahead and go into the app that we're looking at today. Today I'm using my phone. So this is my phone screen. So we're going to go into Google Chrome. Okay. So this is a GCG director. Okay. Today, this is Laptop's Guide to Laptop Cooling Pads. Do they really work? This was by Christopher Harper, April 27th, 2022. Okay. Now, we're going to get into this because a lot of people don't have a comprehension that your laptop may need an extra fan. Do they really work? Well, let's get into this because this article is pretty good. So it says, do they really work? Do laptop cooling fans really work as advised? Even if they do, how can you get to be sure that they actually work for your laptop? And how do you find one that actually suits your needs? Before we get in too deep into the laptop cooling pads alone, it's important to start with an understanding of laptop cooling in general. It has also included some follow-up questions. We've answered the main one. Time to dive in. We can skip ahead as you please. Okay, understanding laptop cooling. First, it's important to understand that laptops are an inherent disadvantage in cooling when it compares to traditional desktop PCs. I'm going to stop right there and say that when you have a gaming laptop, a gaming computer, you could put as many fans in as you want. With a laptop, you kind of have a disadvantage. So that's where we're coming from. When you take the hardware of roughly the same power and you make it smaller, it's going to generate much more heat since it's confined smaller in space. With more heat, you are likely to experience thermal throttling, reducing performance to stay cool, or outright overheating. This is especially promoted issues with laptops that are fairly thin but still have considered powerful. If you're thermal throttling, you won't be able to make the most of whatever powerful GPU or CPU is actually inside your machine. It's a known issue with some Apple laptops due to the extreme focus on slimming down the internal, sometimes skipping fans on MacBook Airs. Another issue with laptops when compared to desktops arise when you realize that thermal paste doesn't last forever. Thermal paste is like a coolant, especially with heavy use. Thermal paste does degrade over time. With a laptop, it's a lot harder to remove the cooler to replace it. I once had a Toshiba satellite that my uncle purchased in 2007. It was a pretty powerful laptop at the time, and I got my hands on it in 2012. It still performed decently in then modern PC games. Unfortunately, that soon changed when the thermal paste in a laptop gave way, and I continued using it pretty heavily as continued to degrade. By the time I stopped using it 2 years later, I called the laptop old metally because it was constantly thermal throttling and regularly locked up at 100 degrees Celsius. This isn't completely the laptop's fault, of course. There's definitely steps I could have taken to fix it. But I was young and dumb at the time, and also had lasted for 7 years. Not bad for a laptop at all. Fortunately, being a laptop, everything, even the relatively slim ones, don't necessarily doom you of having bad cooling. Many laptops these days are built with more intelligence and enduring cooling designs. Some of the forgo the traditional thermal paste in favor of using liquid metal, which performs better than majority of liquid thermal compounds. However, there's a risk of using something like liquid metal to cool a PC. For one, since it's literally exactly what it sounds like. If it happens to spill even a bit of it outside of limit surface area where it can be applied, you're likely to break your machine. Secondly, it mainly requires more frequent reapplication than standard thermal paste, especially when done as an aftermarket model and not from the factory. For most people, such an extreme solution to limit cooling probably isn't what you want. More likely, you want some kind of external laptop cooler, like the ones we're talking about today. Let's get into it. Okay, do laptop cooling pads really work? Largely yes, but there are some preamps to this. For one, a laptop cooling pad will not do much. I'll have a deeper issue with your cooling. For instance, if your thermal paste has been worn out after owning the laptop 5 years plus, chances are the cooling pad won't improve your temperatures very much because cool air doesn't matter. If heat isn't being properly transferred from your CPU to GPU, then it's cooler. So if you notice that your laptop is reaching extreme temperatures on a regular basis, then it didn't before, chances are the cooling pad by itself isn't going to do very much help. You want to dust your laptop and reduce its thermal paste first. If you don't know how to do this, definitely let a technician take care of it. That being said, a laptop cooling pad doesn't generally work, especially if you choose the right one to suit your system. Even budgeted options on Amazon can reduce your laptop temperature by up to 12 degrees, but GPU temperatures see much less of an improvement if the same test by notebookcheck.net. This was also tested with a laptop that already had a very large venting on the bottom as well, making it even more ideal for those tests. In some various thoughts, improvements seem to be much more reliant in differences of 7 to 10 degrees are more common in testing. Okay. So here's the laptop cooling passive types. This is what I wanted to get into. A laptop cooling pad refers to a laptop cooling pad without any fans or other moving parts. They primarily serve as elevate the laptop and allow access to most unrestricted airflow from underneath. And that's what this is right here. And then it says there are usually advantages of laptop stands with vertical but still fits in most articles. And then here it is, the active laptop cooling fan. An active laptop cooling fan is probably what identical picture coming into articles. It's a flat mesh rectangle with case fans inside, usually about $20 to $50. Some of them are a bit flashier and have more or fewer fans, but it's generally what you're looking for. This is the HVAC cooling fan. Most laptops use bottom vents to intake rather than exhaust. When these laptops are in cooling pads like this, will be ideal choice of passive pad due to improving the existing airflow. However, if your laptop exhausts from the bottom, the fans will actually be working against the airflow. In this case, we definitely be better suited with a passive option. Okay, retractable laptop cooler vacuum laptop coolers. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about attachable laptop coolers, also called vacuum laptop coolers. The way these work by improving air take rather than accelerating an exhaust. By attaching these to wherever your laptop exhaust vent is, as long as it's on the side or the back, they will push hot air accumulating out from your laptop faster than the built-in fans can. Unfortunately, these are a lot harder to recommend than the active or passive cooling fan, since compatibility is only relevant on devices thicker rather than just surface areas or intake exhaust locations. Even if the laptop is compatible, having stronger exhaust may be practically helpful, especially if your choked intake was the problem. What kind of laptop cooling fan do I need? Well, before it can answer considering the laptop of mine, make sure you understand how your laptop is already cooled. Where does it air and what does it exhaust? In most laptops, air is brought in from the bottom and exhaust is at the side or the back. You will be able to identify your exhaust air, whichever vent is actually pushing air out, which should be warm or even hot. As long as your exhaust is on the side or the back and not the bottom, you can pretty much take your pick of cooling pad. A passive cooling pad will be the cheapest and quietest since it doesn't have any moving fans. They also tend to double the adjustment laptop stands, making them ideal for desktop use. Just make sure you're not going to get them with some like a fanless MacBook Air as a passive cooling fan can only supplement existing cooling with more airflow. As a pulse, a passive cooling pad should signal get pretty well with a laptop that has a bottom-mounted exhaust vent, since I'll give you more room for heat to escape than it would otherwise have. Okay, so here's my laptop fan. As you can see, it's lifted off the ground. Now, this laptop fan has different brackets, so you could set it at different sides. You could set it here, 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 and here, and then you can set it all the way down. Let me show you what I do. I have it here at gigs, and there's a reason why I have it here at gigs. I have it here for the simple fact that I have no cooling fans on this side of the laptop. No cooling fan. There's no cooling fan back here. And there's no cooling fan right here. As you can see, there's no cooling fan on my laptop. There. But the cooling fan is underneath. As you can see, the cooling fan is underneath, and you can see the fan right here. See it right over here. And as you can see, the fans are right here. Big fans. I put the Velcro on the laptop and the fan to hold the laptop onto the fan itself. Simply because this little thing right here. Notice that there's like maybe 1/8 of an inch between here, the deck here, and the laptop itself. So it barely is holding on to that. Now, the laptop and the fan sit on this. This is my bar that goes to the computer stand, the laptop stand. Basically, as you can see, there's 2 and then there's 2. So the one fan goes over this one and the other fan goes over this one, and it pulls the air in and it sucks in the air. And the air on this laptop is basically vented from the keyboard. Right here's the vent. That's the vent out. And as you can see, the laptop sits on this, and it right here there's a ledge that it catches to this, and that's pretty much what keeps the laptop vented. So yes, laptops, if you're running a thinner laptop like a MacBook Air, which are very, very thin, it's going to be recommended that you get a laptop fan. Like I read to you, it's very important and very vital. Now, does it work for older laptops? Yes and no. If you have an older laptop, you're going to look into some problems down the road because it's going to take a lot more to cool it, due to the fact that the paste in the laptop is probably gone. So that might answer your question on why you're having problems with your laptop freezing up on you if you have an older MacBook. I'm making this up. Even if you have an older Windows computer, it's going to probably do the same thing. So my suggestion is only a suggestion. If you do plan on doing an outdoor event using the laptop that you have, make sure that you have a rag with you too, and you can use it by taking the rag. Do not put it in water. I see videos where DJs have their speakers and they have a bag of ice on them. Don't do that. Don't put that water in that rag in water and stick it on top of your laptop. You're doomed if you do it. If you put your speaker and you put a bag of ice on the back of the speaker, it's not going to cool the speaker down. Speakers are tended to get heat. They're designed to take the heat. So my suggestion is for you to invest in a cooling fan. Maybe 6. They go up to 6. I don't know. They might go up to 8. But invest in a fan. because it's gonna help your overall heat. Maybe try a vacuum, a fan with a vacuum. Try that. Maybe that might help you. If your vent is on the side, like I said, my vent is on the bottom, so that all depends on where your vent is. So I hope this tips help with cooling fans. I know it's a little long video, but a cooling fan is very important. So yes, it is important to have a cooling fan. No, it is important. So yes and no. So I'll go ahead and leave, subscribe to my channel. If this information helped, you can go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and ring that bell for notifications for videos like this and countless others. Go ahead and smash that like button. Go ahead and leave a comment below what you thought of the video, and peace out.
Party to the beat, we gon' party every week, and this moose still on, we gon' party every week, yeah, long as he gon' be the DJ.